this video I'm going to go over line 3 gear for an LRRP, or LRRP, Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol. Now, this is going to be a pretty good amount of gear because you could be out for, 3 days to a week. So you're going to need a lot of things. Bullets, beans, water, whatever. And mission essential gear. So the thing to keep in mind is that when you're going on a long-range reconnaissance patrol, this isn't necessarily a contact patrol where you're ambushing. Now, if you're going to be going out and doing that, you're going to be carrying a heck of a lot more gear probably, some more than others, but there's some things in here that will probably apply a little bit more to just reconnaissance than, a contact patrol, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, the first principle that you need to keep in mind when you're deciding on a pack is you want to have access outside for stuff that you need to get to quickly, and you don't want to have to open up the pack and take things out to get to things. You want to have on the outside in. From the outside you want things that you're going to most likely need right away, and then on the inside you're going to want things that, you got time to get to it, and so it's not really that big of a deal. So with that in mind, this is the pack that I have. And this is kind of a specialty pack. It's kind of an old military surplus pack, and there aren't many of these around, but it's not very common anyways. But I like this. It's very rugged. It's got good canvas on the inside pockets for the most part, and it does a pretty good job of keeping water out. And that's one big thing that to start with is you want something that will keep water out for the most part. And if not, you probably want a poncho or something that can fit over it to protect it from water and rain. Of course, the environment will dictate what you're carrying, what kind of pack or whatever. So this being a LRRP pack, this is what I would I use anyways. You can use an ALS pack or whatever else. So anyways, let's get into it. So I have top pouches here on the flap, and then I have 4 on the outside, and I do have, ALS pieces right here, ALS components where I can strap on, magazine pouches, anything that's ALS compatible, and I also have it on the top here. So I can lay out gear accordingly and on both sides. So I can put canteens or whatever, and I can even, strap things like camelbacks through these little velcroed areas, through these holes, or, radio antennas if you're in the military or whatever. And for this, I laid out my gear according to my experience on deployments, and so let's go ahead and get into it. On the top part of the pouch, or on the top pouches on the top part of the pack, I have comfort items in this pouch, and I'll go ahead and show you what they are. Now, being comfort items, this is for, your comfort. I don't know about you, but when you have to take a shit or whatever, you're going to want to have toilet paper. I would not use this toilet paper. This is more my reserve comfort. But then I have these shit kits and potty packs. I'll put a link in the description below where you can get these. They're a very good thing to have on hand. So I have comfort items in here. So when you need to take a crap, yeah, you definitely want to have things available for that. And it comes with everything, so you can pack out your trash or whatever you wipe your ass with, unless you want to bury it, but, that's up to you. So the next one is medical. Some extra medical stuff like bandages, and I have that cinched down. So bandages, little trauma bandages, and you can put whatever you want, extra tourniquets, Z-pack dressing. Now, this is going to be apart from what you have on your person because it'll be easier to get to, but if you have time to take off your pack and treat somebody, you pull them back from the line and you want to treat somebody, then you have the gear to do it. So that's what I keep in this pouch. So I'll go ahead and put that away. The next thing is these outside pouches. Now, in these I have them kind of interchangeable. I have food and water, and I have some other things that I might want to get to quickly. I'll start off with this one because this isn't the food and water pouch. So what I have here is note-taking gear. I have this Right in the Rain equipment here. So I have my little Right in the Rain notebook, and you can take, you know, notes for, you know, whatever. And then of course I have pens. It's got a little protector here. You want Right in the Rain notebooks. It's very very good to have around. So I have notes. I'll probably want to get that stuff out. If you're on a reconnaissance patrol, you want to set up your little hiding position pretty quickly. You could have this on your person, but if you want to have it in your pack, that's an option. So it doesn't take up too much room. Then I have a little bit of you know, personal cami netting here. It extends out pretty big, so you know, you can camouflage your position pretty. It's a pretty hasty, you know, method of camouflaging, but you know, get whatever pattern. But I mean, I wouldn't go with hasty or multicam, but something that's appropriate with the rest of your gear. If you're just stashing your gear on a hot day and whatever, this would be good to lay over your pack to break up the pattern a little bit more. So yeah, I recommend that. It vents pretty well, so you can put it over your head or whatever. So that's what that is. Very quick access, and you can pretty much reach this with the pack on if you wish, or just have at least one of the shoulder straps on. So anyways, this is more of a quick access type pouch, at least. Next thing is the 3 little pouches here. Now I have a food pouch and I have 2 canteens. The reason I don't like using camelbacks is they can burst, they can be punctured, and then you got to keep things like shoe goo around to plug them up if you're able or whatever. But if these get sat on, these get laid on, these get dropped, they're not going to burst. So you don't have that risk involved. And with canteens, I do like metal canteens if you have to boil water, but I have a metal canteen on my person if I want to boil water. But here I have some surplus canteens, pre-used or whatever. Wash them out with bleach and you're good to go. If you're going to be carrying extra canteens on you, you want to make sure that they're all completely full. One principle that we learned in boot camp is to actually always have a full canteen. If you're going to drink any water on a LRRP or anything reconnaissance, anything where you're trying to keep it quiet, you drink a whole canteen, and then you have an empty one, either completely full or completely empty. So that's that. So in this one, I also have a second canteen, and you can stash a good amount of gear in these side pockets, so you can see the relative size to the pocket. So you can put, you know, water filters in here or whatever. I personally would not have a water filter in here. I would fill this up with nasty water, probably put a t-shirt over it in order to take out some of the big chunks of mud or whatever, and then use a straw, a filter straw, in order to, you know, drink from the canteen past that. So anyways, go to my line 2 gear to talk more about that. So let's go ahead and open up this pouch. So moving into the pack, inside this top pouch, I have other things that I might want to get to relatively quickly, like a shemagh. This is good for like wiping yourself down if you get wet or whatever. Also, you got a change of socks and a change of shirts. Of course, wool socks are money, and I have them rolled up here, and it's just quick clothing access right here. Now, some people don't like Velcro, but of course, you have the time and you're changing your clothes, you can afford a little bit of that. So that's not really going to be that big of an issue, I don't think. But anyways, moving on. Of course, as you can see, from the outside in, less time, more time. So it'll take a little more time to get this stuff out, but it's something that you want to get done quickly and then move on, right? So on the inside, the first thing that I have is a Swiss poncho. This thing is like a ridiculously thick tarp, and this will definitely protect you from the rain. It can also act as some sort of camouflage if you wish. You can get other types of ponchos out there, but I think this is one of the most effective ones as far as, you know, keeping water out. And that's really the big thing for me, is I don't like the military ponchos. I spend enough time with them to where I realize that they can actually seep through. Gore-Texes can seep through, parkas can seep through. This, you could huddle yourself inside with your pack and you'll be completely covered. I have a review on this on my channel in the gear reviews playlist, so you know, check that out. So anyway, set that to the side. So that was in a big pouch, and if I was going to set up a hasty shelter, I have plenty of 550 cord, cut it to whatever length you want. It's inside this big pouch. So the next thing is, in front of this little pouch is NVGs. You might want to whip out some NVGs, take time during the stand 2 hours when you're getting your eyes used to the night vision to pull out some NVGs. You can get smaller ones than this, but you know, this is what I got right now and subject to change. So anyways, got NVGs. And the next one is what I call a combat resupply. I have 6 extra magazines in this little resupply bandolier here. So here I have, you know, my 6 mags or whatever fully loaded and ready to go. So if that's what I need for resupply, 3 on each side, then I'm good to go, right? So that's that. So the next items are kind of, you know, whatever you wish. You can decide to have them or not, but I would have a good utility knife. This is a Cold Steel GI Tanto, very good all-purpose knife, and it can be used, you can make a spear out of it, take these handles off or whatever. I don't know how you're going to do that without an Allen key, unless you have like a multi-tool that has a specific size, maybe a Leatherman that has interchangeable heads or whatever. But this is a very good knife to have around, very durable, very inexpensive, very light. So very good thing to have around, very good size anyways, that's what I have in this little pocket. So moving on to here, I actually, down here, I have a pistol. So this is a Lionheart LH9, and it has a holster. This is basically a backup gun and slash, you know, a civvies gun. Now, the next line, I'll get into where this would come into play, but let me go ahead and dig a little deeper. So the next line of ammo I have is pistol ammo. Now this is 147 grain bonded ammo, bonded golden sabers. So this would go with the Lionheart LH9 if I needed to use it, and I'll get into that in a second again. So next thing is an extra t-shirt. Again, gotta have your spares. And I would recommend having wool socks around as well, and also a replacement top. So if you get too wet or whatever, you want to dry something off and you still want to have a blouse on, this would be a good thing to have around. Have some extras, or a extra at least. But again, as I talked with you guys on the Line 1 gear, you want to have your Line 1 gear good enough to wear for several days at a time. I had to do that where I had to go through basically a whole deployment on one set of camis. So, you know, deal with that. So the next part is kind of, you know, whatever for the long-range reconnaissance, but this is a cleaning kit. All I have in here is a cloth, a terry cloth, and a 30 caliber bore snake. You can put a 5.56 bore snake in there if you wish. This is a German surplus cleaning kit. I took out everything, the brush or whatever. You don't really need a brush in order to quickly wipe them down if you had some contact and you have time to clean your weapon. So it fits in this, very lightweight, doesn't really make much noise, and it fits in this little pocket right on the side here. So that's what I have there. And also I have a little mosquito net that you can fit over your head. This can actually be very invaluable for obvious reasons, not getting bit up by mosquitoes in your face while you're trying to observe a position on a reconnaissance. So the next thing you want to have on you is civvies. So the civvies, the reason you'd want to have civvies on you is if you're doing a reconnaissance patrol, you might want to go out and actually have contact with the people in the town. You might want to do a little undercover. You might want to, you know, just take your civvies on, put your civvies on, and recon the position up close, and that you can't do in all this tactical gear. And that's where the Lionheart LH9 comes in. It's a concealable pistol. You just use the belt from your Line 1 gear, and you're good to go. So that's something that I would actually recommend if you're on a reconnaissance patrol. Just have that as an option. So with all that, that's pretty much it in this pack. It still has a lot of room in here, and the one pouch that I forgot to get to was the food pouch, and this kind of goes down to the type of food that I would carry around. I have a 3,600 calorie Mayday ration here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, seven 400 calorie rations. So 2,800 calories plus 36, so that's 6,400 calories. So it's not going to be too much, but you can get like 3 or 4 of those things to fit inside one of these pouches. But you know, that's all I wanted to pull out, and I just took whatever of these small rations that I had on me. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this pack. Okay, so that's my LRRP Line 3 gear, so let me know what you think in the comments below. It can actually be heavier or lighter depending on what you want to do, so you know, go ahead and leave your comments. I did it as best as I could as to keep it lighter. The canteens aren't even filled, but this weighs, you know, almost 40 pounds. I don't really think that I'll need too much extra ammo, but you know, it's 180 rounds extra, so if you do get in a big firefight, you know, whatever, I would say this would be better for like contact patrols or whatever, where you're going out for days at a time just engaging, setting up ambushes or whatever. But you know, whatever you select, that's on you. So thanks a lot for watching. See you guys around.